So I've been using the brand new Viltrox 85mm f1.8 lens, and specifically I've been using it for the Nikon Z mount. So this is the first third-party autofocus lens for the Nikon Z mount. So I was real excited to try this out, and actually right from the moment I opened the box on this lens, I've been pretty impressed with it. And I really think it's going to be a great cheap alternative from the native 85mm. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, and as always, hit that thumbs up button on the video. Okay, so as I said, right from the moment I opened the box on this lens, I have been very impressed with the build quality. For the price of this lens, which is $399 brand new, it has a very premium look and feel to it. It's made from metal, and it has just a really sleek, stealth looking design to it. It's got that real nice matte black finish, a lot like the native Z-mount lenses have. The lens definitely has a little bit of weight to it, being made from metal, but it balances well in my hands when it's paired up with my Nikon Z6. So I do not have the Nikon version of this lens to compare it to, but what I do have is the 50mm f1.8 lens. And I would go as far as saying, for the first impressions comparing these two lenses, I really think the Viltrox has a more premium look and feel to it. The Nikon version it feels a bit more plasticky, and it honestly feels cheaper in the hands. The 85mm is slightly larger than the 50mm, noticeably a little heavier, which is to be expected. It is worth noting that the Viltrox lens I do not believe is weather sealed, and the native Nikon Z lenses are. The large focus ring feels very good in the hands. It's a little stiff, but I'd definitely rather have it on the stiffer side rather than it being loose and super easy to turn. But it's definitely super smooth and works very well. So my only gripe on the build quality of the lens would be the lens hood. The lens hood's kind of tough to get on and off, and it doesn't go on and off smoothly at all. That is definitely noticeable. I mean, the lens itself is flawless, and the lens hood definitely isn't up to par with the rest of the lens, quality-wise. It's not a huge deal, but it's worth noting. Alrighty, moving on to the use of this lens and the photos I've gotten from it. Now, I've not had this lens too long, so I haven't used it as much as I'd like for a review. And I'm gonna start off by saying I'm definitely more of a wide-angle landscape shooter. That's just what I enjoy. That's what I do more of. But I definitely like to have lenses like this in my bag. Especially this one. I have a son, so I like to get portrait shots of him. I like to get portraits of my dogs. And it works well for kind of an all-around the house lens. And from time to time, I still do take a lens out like this when I'm shooting landscape photography. It's nice to get a more compressed view of a scene and really kind of focus in on the details. It's also good to have a lens like this for B-roll for videos. So obviously, being that this is the first third-party lens with autofocus for this Nikon Z system, that was my main focus. I wanted to try that out, see how that performed, and quite honestly, it completely beat my expectations. I honestly have not really seen a difference from the autofocus on this lens compared to the native lenses. The eye autofocus works great, just as well as the 50mm, focuses just as fast as my other ones. One thing I have noticed is, and I don't know if this is the lens's fault or just the camera itself, clearly when I have a subject in my frame, a lot of times the lens will focus on stuff behind it. And I have noticed that with the 50mm too, but it doesn't seem to be as bad as this. It's really stubborn to get it to focus on that subject. Then finally, once you get it locked in on that subject, it's fine. But that's definitely something worth noting. It definitely likes to focus on things behind your subject. And then another thing is, I wish it kind of focused on subjects a little closer. You've got to have the lens, it says 0.8 meters away from your subject in order to get it in focus, which is about 2.5 feet. And I definitely would have liked to focus on things a little closer than that. It's not a big deal, but that was something I definitely noticed. But outside of that, the colors are accurate. The lens is super sharp, and being that the lens is an f1.8 aperture, that depth of field is very small. So I found that stopping the lens down to 2.8 and up, anywhere from like 3.5 to 4, sharpens everything up much better, and that's kind of like the sweet spot of this lens. f3.5 is a really good balance between letting enough light in and sharpening up your subject. But outside of that, I really don't have too much to complain about this lens. It definitely beat my expectations. And I definitely think for a budget lens, if you're looking to save a little bit of money from the native Nikon to this costs $399. So I think it definitely is comparable to the Nikon one. And overall, works very, very well. So if you're in the market for an 85mm portrait lens, I would definitely recommend this one. I'd definitely at least check it out. Try it out for yourself if you're looking to save a little bit of money from the other one, because the autofocus really does perform flawlessly on it. And for being the first third-party lens out that offers autofocus for this lens, or for the system rather, I think it works really well. So I'm looking forward to using it more. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely be sure to hit that thumbs up button, and then let me know what you think of this lens. Are you going to be trying it out? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, I'll see you in the next video.